Hey, we had Wednesday's show. I read your guys' feedback on social media, and many of you asked why I had not responded to Jon Jones's snub of me. And I suppose I'll do it now, but to answer the question why I didn't respond, I don't really have a response. So here, let's back up a little bit. Here's what had happened. Jon had his fight. He won. As soon as he gets done with his fight, he goes, out of the arena behind the curtain, and there's a kind of like a media row set up. Now, Ariel and I were hosting the show for ESPN, so Jon would go into the ESPN space, to let you guys know how this works, behind the camera, or rather behind the curtain at the arena. That, all he's looking at, though, is a camera. He's got a microphone, he's looking at a camera. He gets tossed to us, so we're not face-to-face, which we see him pop up on a screen. So he's at the arena, we're in the studio, just to let you know how it works in case you didn't see this. And when Jon comes on, Ariel introduces us. Hey, it's Chael and Ariel over here, and, hello, Jon type thing. And Jon says, hello, Ariel. He doesn't say, hey, guys, or hello, Ariel, hello, Chael. He says, hello, Ariel. Kind of goes out of his way to make sure that he's just saying hi to Ariel, which was a big clue, right? Because Jon has treated media this way before, as recently as the day before at the press conference when he scolded a young lady that was asking him questions. So I kind of had the alert, and then when Ariel started to continue this and get to the first question, Jon responded by saying, hey, Ariel, I want to just make this clear. I only want to talk to you. And we went from there. So Ariel kind of looked at me and said, hey, are you okay with that? Yeah, I'm okay with that. Boom. And the interview concludes. I didn't think there was a whole lot to make there. I think that when you're in the role of the media, see, what Jon is used to is getting into a battle of wits with me, and then I make him look like a horse's ass. So I could see where he would not want to do that. Plus, he was getting asked very tough questions, and I understood the language. The media that was asking him questions didn't even know what a picogram was. They didn't know what turnable was. They didn't understand half-lives. They didn't understand the testing process. So I think that he might have had a fear that I was going to do that to him. Now, he would have been wrong. I would not have done that to him. Not in that role. I am there for ESPN. I'm on the clock, if you will, and this is his moment. But he doesn't know that. I couldn't fault him for that, and I don't. I don't hold a grudge that he did. I thought it was very rude. I thought that it was rude to come onto a show and then not take questions from the hosts of the show. That's just the deal that you make going in. But to give a member of the media a bump here or there, to have a back and forth, I've had wonderful back and forth moments myself. Formed a great relationship with Jim Rome, but it started from me putting him on blast. Formed a great relationship with Dan Le Batard. By great, I mean I continue to enjoy making him look a fool, but it all started by me coming on his show and making him look a fool. So if I got to look the fool, I mean, what goes around comes around. I didn't think I had the right to cry in spilled milk when I'm the one that wrote the blueprint for the sport and how you conduct media, and Jon took a chapter from the book. I didn't think that was fair. I will tell you, he did catch me off guard in this regard. One of the things that he had said to Ariel, which I took as a message to me, I should also admit to you, I could be taking it wrong, but the way I took it at the end of the show when he signed off to Ariel, and he continued to say Ariel's name over and over again to exclude me. But one of the things he said to Ariel is, hey, Ariel, I really appreciate you. You're a host that checks the facts and knows what he's talking about before you go out and start reporting things. I didn't take that as a compliment to Ariel, which perhaps it was. I took that as a slide to me. If I'm correct, and I have to say the word if, but if I'm correct, that was a little bit alarming as well, because the only time I had ever weighed in that entire week on Jon Jones and his licensing and the move to California and the decision of USADA, I took Jon's side. No, I didn't take his side out of our past relationship or, as some way of saying I favor Jon Jones. I just looked at the evidence. I thought USADA got it right. They don't usually use logic over the science of the test. They usually will always default to the test. In this case, they used logic while looking at the results of the test and said, hey, we don't think there's a violation here. I agree with that. I agreed with the decision made. I agreed with the intimacy that the state of California had as it pertained to Jon Jones and the testing procedure, and they wanted to go ahead and move along with it. So he actually had that wrong. On this week, he was dealing with an ally of sorts. I was an ally. I was a supporter of the decision made. So I guess that's my response, and I know I kind of went in circles there, but ultimately I don't really have one. Jon kind of went on a little hateful media tour. He does that anytime he's on top. It's very common. He will act as though he is holding something that you need. He forgets what side of the bread is buttered. He will think that his presence, the one time that he's fought in the last year, the 3 times collectively he's fought in the last 3 years, somehow moves the needle. When he skins his knee and stubs his toe, he then can't figure out why he doesn't have any allies on the other side, meaning the media. This is just a circle that he goes through, and this is the game that he plays. He can continue to do that. I won't pass judgment on that. But for him to give me a bit of a bump there, he then did the same thing to Anthony Smith. He did the same thing to Michael Bisping, and 2 days before, he did the same thing to a young lady at the press conference. So I don't know that it was totally out of ordinary. He's got the right to go do his media the way he wants to do the media. I suppose if you wanted to dissect the whole thing, when you agree to go on a show, you agree by the rules of the show. The show has the power. If you want to get your message out there, you must first get on the show, not try to act as though you're holding the card. So I didn't think it was all that big of a deal.